It started when he was the size of a pencil. You fed him every week. You held him every day. You talked to him not because anyone told you to, but because he was yours. You named him. You learned his moods. You learned that on some days he moved toward your hand, and on other days he stayed coiled in the corner and did not want to be touched, and you respected that too. 3 years later, he is the length of your arm. His body is thicker than your wrist. When he wraps around your shoulder, you feel the weight of something ancient, and somewhere in the back of your mind, a question you have never fully answered. Does he know you? And when he is big enough, will that matter? Most people assume the answer is simple. A snake is a wild animal. It does not bond, it tolerates, and when it is large enough and hungry enough or startled enough, it will do what wild animals do. The taming is temporary. The wildness is permanent. That is not entirely wrong, and it is not entirely right. Here is what actually happens inside a snake when it grows up with a human. A wild snake's nervous system runs on one calculation, made constantly: threat or no threat. Everything it encounters, a sound, a shadow, a smell, a vibration, gets processed through this single filter. The answer determines everything. Threat means strike, flee, coil, freeze. No threat means continue. When you handle a snake from the time it is young every day, same hands, same smell, same movements, you are not teaching it to love you. You are doing something more precise than that. You are training its nervous system to reclassify you. From threat to known, from unknown to safe, from something to fear to something to ignore. Research by Morgan Skinner and his team, published in Behavioral Ecology and Sociobiology in 2024, studied what they called intense sociability in ball pythons, animals long assumed to be completely solitary. What they found was that individual snakes raised with regular human contact showed measurably different behavioral profiles than those raised in isolation. They were calmer, more exploratory, less reactive to sudden stimuli. The daily presence of a human had physically shaped how their nervous system processed the world. But here is the part nobody tells you when you buy a baby snake. That reclassification has a limit, and the limit is not affection. It is instinct, and instinct does not disappear. It waits. A ball python that bites you has not decided to betray you. It has decided, in one fraction of a second, that something about this moment does not match the pattern it has learned to associate with safety. Your hand smelled like the mouse you fed it an hour ago. You moved too fast. You reached in from above the angle of a predator. Many experienced snake handlers note that the majority of bites from tame snakes are not attacks, they are mistakes. The snake was not trying to hurt its owner. It was responding to a signal that triggered the wrong classification. With a ball python, that mistake cost you a small wound and a story to tell. With a Burmese python at 4 meters long, a snake that started as a pencil and is now a rope as thick as your forearm, that same mistake costs something else entirely. Since 1980, large constrictor snakes kept as pets have been linked to the deaths of at least 16 people in the United States, including 7 children. In almost every case, the snake was not a stranger. It was a pet. It had been handled for years. It had never shown aggression. And then one night it was hungry, or it was startled, or the handler made one wrong movement and the reclassification collapsed in an instant, replaced by something 150 million years older than any relationship between a human and a reptile. The pattern is almost always the same. People buy these animals when they are small. When they grow, they either cannot control them or release them. This is the part that changes how you think about everything that came before. The snake that wraps around your shoulder today and rests there without tension, that is real. The reclassification is real. The lowered stress hormones, the recognition of your scent, the behavioral preference for your presence over a stranger's presence, all of it is real and measurable. But it is not domestication. A dog is domesticated. 15,000 years of selective breeding have rewritten the dog's genome to orient toward humans, to read human faces, to feel distress when separated from a human it knows. That is a different kind of change, not behavioral, but genetic. It goes all the way down. A snake raised by a human is habituated. The wildness is not gone, it is resting, And this is the part that is about you. You have people in your life who know you well, who have been around you long enough to learn your rhythms, your signals, your moods, who have reclassified you from stranger to known, from unknown to safe. And you have probably told yourself that that familiarity is the same as trust. Sometimes it is, and sometimes, under enough pressure, under the wrong conditions, when something ancient gets triggered, even the most familiar relationship can produce a response that surprises you. The snake does not hate you when it bites. It is not being disloyal. It is simply being what it always was, underneath everything you both built together. The question is not whether you can raise a snake like a human. The question is whether you ever really understood what you were raising.